so it's probably a good time just to tap into self and start focusing on, your vision, your thoughts, your life and where it's going, you know? You can't live in the life you want to live 5 years from now today. You can build the building blocks, you can do everything you want to, but until you adjust how you live now and you start living today, now, solving the problems you have today, you know, you're not going to make it 5 years. So it's not about what you do today. It's not about the competition that might be out there. It's not about the jealousy or the haters or any of that kind of shit, for real, for real. It's really about, like, how are you going to play 5 years down the line? Alright, today you're not winning, but if you put 5 years into yourself, you double down, you believe in the only person that has your best interests at heart, you believe in your talent, you believe in your skill, what can you get 5 years from now? You know? People are already ridiculed. People are already shy. People already don't want support. You're already living in that reality, you know? How are you honestly going to get from point A to point B to fix what you're going through? Don't just live in, like, yeah, no one likes me, no one respects me, maybe those breaks are not good. Maybe they don't know you're good. Maybe they don't know you're talented. I don't do this to prove myself to anybody. I don't do this really for anybody else. I do this to prove who I am to myself. I do this to prove who I believe I am. I do this to focus upon my personal identity. And it's not someone who needs a million people. It needs one person, it needs 20 people. You know, I'll play to an empty audience. I don't give a shit. Let's get it. Alright. Now where we last left off. Freaky kinky. It was getting freaky kinky. Page, was it 17? Yeah, okay. I don't mean to be so mature. I really don't, but I think I am. I think I'm only human, and I think I'm going to do what I can do best. Alright, let's get it. Rochelle unzipped her skirt, tossing it aside, then stood, stretching out her petite frame and running her hands up her sides to pull off her shirt. She encircled her pierced nipples, wagging him forward with only a finger. I want to thank you, baby, for everything. You got me a new job today, you gave me the most bomb head I've ever had, and you let me stay in this beautiful apartment. Rochelle wrapped her arms around his neck as he sauntered over under her spell. Rochelle held out her breast for him to suckle as he lifted her in the air. Rochelle moaned softly in his ear as she freed his cock from his shorts. Edward held her, lowering her in his manhood, penetrating her dripping wet insides, letting him in with little resistance. Rochelle smirked, squeezing him firmly in her pussy once he was inside. She was rolling her hips as he held her up in the air, making love to him as they kissed passionately. Feeling his way back to the couch, Rochelle's guilt faded away as Edward sat down as she began bouncing on him, working her hips in short movements, squeezing him tighter with her experience. Edward couldn't help himself coming inside her, spurting out inside of Rochelle, who didn't even flinch as she felt his nut. Rochelle smiled, kissing him softly, taking her time, laying on her back as his seed spilled out of her. We need to clean this couch before Monica gets home. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a completely different fucking person. Wow. Edward's a monster. Hold on, let me get back in the frame of mind. Because I wrote it, but I forgot who was speaking. Rochelle smiled, kissing him softly, taking her time, lying on her back as his seed spilled out of her. We need to clean this couch before Monica gets home. Rochelle giggled as she saw how much was dripping out of her. Are you done? Edward asked, stroking his dick now that his first nut was gone. He's a monster. Rochelle swallowed in fear, thinking she had control over the situation. She was scheduled to take her birth control for another few hours and had been shaky the past week since she had been having sex. Rochelle looked at the white milky substance spurting from the rock-hard big cock. The rock-hard big black cock a few inches from her honey pot. Man, I was in the zone when I was writing this. Max was one nut, and then he took a nap. Rochelle closed her legs. I knew you weren't serious. That's good. Now I can head off to the gym. Edward sighed. Rochelle bit her lip, feeling her Yanni begin to yearn for him as he tried to leave. If he had more to offer, then she was more than willing to accept all he had to give. I mean, it's your pussy, Daddy, Rochelle uttered, wondering how he would respond. Edward froze as Rochelle sat up on her knees, closing her eyes and opening her mouth. Edward swallowed, not even able to imagine Monica ever submitting so willingly. Put your ass in the air. Edward rubbed Rochelle's chin before sticking his thumb in her mouth. She sucked it slowly until letting him go. Yes, Daddy. Rochelle crawled to the arm of the couch, shaking her butt in the air. Fuck, you're dead ass serious. Edward marveled, looking over his shoulder. I'll do anything you want, Daddy. Rochelle reached between her legs, rubbing her pussy, waiting for him. Put your clothes on and go in your room, alright? Edward demanded much more authoritatively. Rochelle stopped, confused for a few seconds before standing up and grabbing her clothes off the floor. She blushed, moving slowly, not wanting to question, but wanting desperately to know why he was rejecting her after she gave herself to him. Rochelle looked over her shoulders a few times before realizing how easily they could have been found on the couch. He was scrubbing the sofa by the time she was dressed in only a t-shirt, smoking a blunt while waiting for him to join her. When she poked her head out of the room, he was heading off. Eddie, wait, what's wrong? Huh? Nothing's wrong. Why? What's up? I don't want you to guess. Just a second. I think it's supposed to be I don't want you to second guess. I don't want you to second guess. That's like the awesome part about this too, is that you catch stuff you would have never caught otherwise. Like for real, for real. I say for real, like a lot. Edward rubbed his neck, putting the pieces together in his head slowly as he approaches Rochelle. He holds her tightly in his arms, embracing her close to his chest. Rochelle squeezed him, not wanting to let him go, feeling safe for the first time in years. She didn't believe tears were falling from her eyes. As they parted, Rochelle looked at him, knowing she would do anything for him. She tried to control, sobbing as he led her back to her bed, rubbing her back. You should get rest. Okay, baby girl? He kissed her forehead and tucked her in bed. Are you sure you don't want me? Rochelle asked. Of course I want you, but right now you need to focus on you need yourself more than I need sex. You're more than sex, even if it does feel amazing with you, Rochelle. Edward kisses her again as Rochelle pulls him into bed. Rochelle lies in her back, pulling his clothes off. She's incorrigible. Rochelle lies in her back, pulling his clothes off of him as he grabs her hips and begins to feel her walls. Rochelle kisses all over him as they make love in a missionary position. Rochelle's arms and legs were guiding him where he needed to go as they climaxed together. Rochelle smiled as she wiped the sweat from his face, giggling as he panted, rolling onto his back. Your pussy's amazing, Edward mused as he sat on the edge of the bed. Your cock's amazing, too. Best sex I've ever had. Rochelle hugged him from behind as she passed him the remainder of the blunt. Are you on birth control? He asked, feeling guilty even bringing it up. Rochelle grabbed her purse and took the bill right in front of him without water. She then slid between his legs and her knees, filling his mouth with his dick again. Rochelle's neck bobbed up and down, and she felt her cheeks fill with another nut, swallowing it before licking him clean to go free. Rochelle swelled with pride as he lay back down with her, wrapping her in his arms while they finished off her cigarette. Rochelle lets him go, feeling so tired she drifted off to sleep. Edward left her to head off for the gym, and after that he still has fucking more to go. What a fucking Chad. What a fucking lad, man. That guy's like just... That's what we all dream to be, man. A fucking stallion with the actual stallion, not like a castrated male horse. But like an uncastrated horse, like a bronco then? Whatever. Focus. When Rochelle woke up, her body felt tingly all over. She drifted off to the kitchen. Feeling compelled to cook, she danced into the kitchen in her t-shirt, surprised to find both were still out by the time she got done cutting her veggies and browning her keepsake. Rochelle was on the balcony for another hour, waiting for the beef stew to finish cooking. Edward was the first home. He came inside furious, with Monica following behind him, laughing hysterically. Edward came inside and went straight to the bedroom, slamming the door. Monica was falling over herself, laughing up a storm as she lay on the couch. Rochelle took her time, gathering her thoughts, not wanting to interfere. Rochelle pretended as if she couldn't hear anything until her phone timer went off, letting her know dinner was ready. Rochelle took a deep breath as she went inside to find Monica laying across the couch. It didn't take long for Rochelle to realize Monica was drunk. She knew the smoothie wasn't enough to make someone act so goofy. Rochelle ignored Monica at first, moving straight into the kitchen to turn off the pot. Rochelle turned, nearly having a heart attack as she sees Monica watching her from the kitchen island. "You cook too?" Monica rolls her eyes. "I love to cook more than cleaning if you want to take up the cleaning. I don't mind making dinner when I get off work tonight." "Get off work at night," Rochelle suggests. Monica rolled her eyes. "If you're even still here after tonight." The bar had to call him to pick me up because apparently I was belligerent. "You even went drinking without me?" "Well, I ran into Cassie and a few of her friends after I got my nails done. They took me to the bar, and after some conversation and a few drinks, they started doing karaoke." "I don't see why they would have called you for that." "I wouldn't let anyone sing without me. At first, I think it was a bit cute, but honestly, I didn't give the mic. Then I climbed out of the bar singing Halo by Beyonce. I wasn't feeling too angelic when security put me in a bear hug and made me sit behind the host booth in timeout until Edward came." "She was right for going without me. What the hell, girl? You got without me all the time, every single night. I do it once and you're both so mad. I'm more jealous than angry. I would have killed, get out the house too. Instead I'm in here cooking for your man, doing your job." Rochelle crosses her arms over her chest. "Well, you also don't pay rent, so it's the least you could do for us." Monica rolls her eyes. Monica's a How did I make her? How did I create something? It's like having a child and seeing your child turn 18 and she's just like a bitch. Damn, what kind of battery did I put in this girl to make her like this? Man, she's ruthless, man. She reminds me of a lot of people that I've met in real life, for real though. Oh, she calls her out for it. Good girl, Rochelle. "You're such a jerk right now," Rochelle gasps. "Is dinner ready? I need to eat before I puke again. He might kick us out. I threw up in his car." "You puked in his BMW? Did you at least clean it out?" He went on a long lecture about how expensive the car was and how much the upholstery would cost to clean. Whatever he took his money back. Well, whatever was left in the pay, I still owe him a few $100s, Monica sighed. "I would be pissed at you too. Do you want me to speak to him?" "No. I'm gonna go in there and offer him some kitty to make him feel better. Besides, I'm raging horny right now, so please excuse me while I go." "Please, my man." Monica claps her hands. Rochelle bit her lip, wondering if it wasn't even physically possible to have sex after their passionate lovemaking earlier. "I think you should give him some space." "Are you gonna take care of it?" Monica rolled her eyes. There's a lot of eye rolling going on, Don't do that. Don't do that, Monica. Don't do that. Your eyes are going to roll in the back of your head, and they're never going to come out again. Rochelle gasped, wondering where such a question came from, such a conservative person. Oh, Rochelle's freaky. She acts like she's going to take care of it. I mean, I guess I could, but what would Edward think? Rochelle giggled as Monica began squeezing her butt and kissing her neck. "I don't think I care who or what takes me right now. It's a massive itch that's never needed scratching before now," Monica explained as she jokingly rubs Rochelle's breast. "No, you're crazy. You were about to kick me out earlier." Rochelle grabbed Monica's hands. "But I thought you were fucking my man. Now you have a job, you're making dinner, and you smell so good." Monica kissed Rochelle's neck down to her shoulder. Rochelle released Monica's hands as they reached between her legs and up her shirt. Monica twisted her nipple rings gently between her fingers. Rochelle looked back to speak, only meeting Monica's lips, tasting the apple tea in her tongue as it swam in her mouth. Rochelle was stunned by how much she enjoyed it. Her body was already in ecstasy. Now, with only her shirt on, Monica set her body on fire. "Now, I know you've been faithful, and I feel so bad for what I did. Oh my god, Cassie and Bianca were telling me how they started dating." "Oh no, Monica, please don't. Oh god." Rochelle tried to fight without a chance to shower, with Edward's seed still between her legs. Oh shit. Damn. Like, I feel like that's such a fucked up situation to be in. Holy shit. I know I wrote it, like, I wrote this back in April. So I remember the story. I don't remember all the nuances and all, like, the little bits. Like, that's great. Like, she's really trying to smash right now. And she legit just, like, how are you going to explain where all that nut came from? Like, they literally just had sex, like, I think, like, 3 or 4 times, like, back to back to back. And, like, she has to, like, reek of, like, Rochelle has to be, like, 10% semen right now. And someone. Monica giggled, kissing Rochelle again, squeezing her butt as she leaves Rochelle for a bit to inspect the beef stew. I never knew you could cook, Monica noticed as she smells the pot. I had to learn quickly, Rochelle said, squeezing her breast and pitching herself to remind her she was awake and not dreaming. Okay, so I have a proposition for you. Monica turns up as she turns to find Rochelle in the middle of flinging herself behind her back. It's not what it looks like. Rochelle raises her hands, crossing her legs as she ran for Edward. If this beef stew is as good as it looks, I'm gonna see if you taste as good as you look. Monica bops Rochelle in the nose, then gets a spoon from the drawer. Edward would find us. Do you think he would like you cheating on him with me? Monica tries to rationalize. Oh, like, you should be fucking talking. You brought up the idea of cheating. Maybe I was the smarter one to think of having you first. Monica dips the spoon inside the stew, staring it up, then having a quick taste. She closed her eyes, savoring the umami from the perfectly tender steak. Rochelle cursed herself, having made this stew with Edward in mind. Rochelle slowly backed out of the kitchen before Monica could turn around. Rochelle rushed to the bathroom, knowing there was little stopping Monica once there was an idea in her head. Rochelle sat in the toilet, hoping to clean up a bit before Monica came knocking. It was little use. Rochelle looked up, spotting the shower, and turned it on. Monica slowly opened the door, poking her head inside to check before she slipped inside, locking the door behind her. Monica quickly removed her sweatpants and baby tee, appreciating Rochelle's slim thick. I remember that was like the term of the century. Slim thick frame when she showered, not when she lowered, she showered. Monica tapped on the glass, making sure Rochelle saw her before she joined her. Rochelle was curious how far Monica was willing to go. Monica trailed her fingers down Rochelle's backside, gently lifting her butt, then enjoying how it jiggled in the shower. Rochelle watched with a similar appreciation for her own body as Monica explored her sides, grabbing her sea-cupped breast before Monica held her head to Rochelle's bosom. I'm so sorry for earlier. You're my friend, and I should have never taken my anger out on you. Monica kissed Rochelle down her belly button. Crazy. Monica lipped Rochelle, tasting how her friends. Oh, comma. The power of punctuation. Monica licked, tasting her, comma. How her friends spoke about during their lunch date. Rochelle held her breath as Monica's warm tongue gently teased her labia and clitoris. Rochelle grabbed Monica by the throat, humping Monica's tongue while getting close to coming. Rochelle turned around, spreading her butt for Monica, who giggled as she crawled over. Rochelle bent over and Monica lifted her leg, giving her better access as Monica returned to feasting on Rochelle. Rochelle laughed at how Monica greedily sucked at her lips. Rochelle laid Monica down as the water rained down upon them. Rochelle slid a finger inside of Monica while sucking on her clitoris. His clitoris, that's crazy. Her clitoris. Monica gasped at how quickly Rochelle brought her to an orgasm. Rochelle swiftly switched between her tongue and her fingers, rubbing Monica's clitoris roughly as her tongue softly worked inside like a ravenous bear in a beehive. Rochelle lifted Monica clean, leaving her best friend paralyzed on the shower floor with the waters raining down on her closed eyes. Are you okay? Monica giggles, covering her mouth. I'm amazing. Thank you so much. Monica waves Rochelle along. You want some time to yourself? I'm gonna take a bath in the jacuzzi. Monica plugs up the tug as jets begin firing on her from all sides. I didn't know this was a jacuzzi too. Rochelle covered her mouth. Well, now you know. Get your self-care game up, girl. Monica teased, letting her body slowly float up as the water rises, too relaxed to be bothered. Rochelle giggled, backing out of the bathroom, leaving Monica to her bath. She wondered how much Monica must have drunk to come up with such a crazy idea. More than anything, what the hell... It's a good question. More than hell, what the hell was Cassie and Bianca talking about to put such an idea in her head? Rochelle lightly knocked on Edward and Monica's bedroom door. She wasn't surprised when he didn't respond. Probably thought it was Monica. Rochelle was shocked to find the door locked. Rochelle covered her mouth, backing up slowly as the thought of him being mad at her as well. Did he know what they did in the shower? Rochelle knocked a bit louder. It might take you a while for someone to answer. Edward chuckled, coming up from behind her with a bowl of stew. Oh, great. I was gonna let you know I cooked. Rochelle bit her lip as she nodded to his bowl, wondering what he thought. It's delicious. I had no idea you cook so well. It's been a month and you're cooking for the first time now? Edward pinched her cheek with his free hand, moving to kiss her, and she pulls away. What? Why does your breath smell like pussy? What? Why are you naked in the hallway? Why does your breath smell like pussy? He asked her. Rochelle was pissed at herself for her oversight. She walked right into it. Rochelle stammered. Rochelle, do I need to text Monica what happened? Please don't, okay? She was drunk. She had no idea what was going on. I'm super high. Please don't be mad. Who was better? He grinned. Rochelle blushed, poking him in the chest, too embarrassed to say it out loud. Alright, go brush your teeth. I guess I'll smoke with you two girls tonight, but you both need some mouthwash first. I'm gonna eat. She hugged him tight, burying her head in his chest and letting him go so she could shower alone. That's how you know Edward's a fucking cheater. Like, a cheater don't give a fuck when you cheat, man. Like a stone cold cheater, like, just does not give a fuck. I don't know if he's like a stone cold cheater. I didn't look that deep into it, but like, he just did not give a fuck to find that out. Like, he's probably just like, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out how Edward actually feels. Edward shook his head as he popped the lock with his fingernail, wondering how he got so lucky after all this time being blue-balled by Monica. Edward resisted Rochelle's presence at first, but was more than grateful to have her around now. He caught himself before he could continue dwelling on the difference. The more he thought of what he liked about Rochelle, his relationship began to sadden him. He felt Rochelle had everything Monica lacked and vice versa, but he couldn't decide what's more important. When sober, Monica was ambitious and dynamic. She worked full-time and ran a business on the side. However, there was no romance or passion in their relationship. Until recently, they weren't even having sex. Monica felt like a business partner or a roommate. Rochelle felt like freedom and fantasy. But he felt any idea of a relationship came with a vast disparity in responsibility he didn't feel comfortable entertaining. Monica was submissive, but Rochelle felt conditioned. Edward ate in virtual silence, not even bothering to turn on the television. He felt haunted by his day and the critical conversation he had with Angela after Monica left, advising him to consider leaving his relationship before losing the best years of his life in abuse and neglect. Angela mentored him, but he felt he was ready to branch out into his own practice. Initially, this was why he became a partner. However, seeing each other in equal playing fields complicated their relationship, as Angela never felt it necessary to hide her attraction for the younger man. She was giving him advice and telling him about her ex-husband often in hopes he avoided their mistakes. In the end, Edward was exhausted with his relationship, sex, and Monica's mood swings. Since Rochelle had a job and those two seemed to be best of friends, he felt it might be best for him to leave and move to a place with lower property values. As Angela always advised him to do before they got old and learned bad habits, he built his real estate empire. Become successful while he still had a student mentality and no ego. Edward laid in his bed, feeling he got as good as he gave, yet feeling all the same his relationship with Monica was running its course. He wished for it to be more sensible in his mind, but even with the sex, there was so much he felt was lacking. He didn't need a business partner. He wanted a wife. Somebody who could take care of the home while he reached his highest capacity. If she tried to unlock her potential as well, he would help her. He thought, well, that's what Monica was about, but in reality, she wanted money to live, however she wanted. Edward wanted to save his money to become a millionaire, if not a billionaire. It felt impossible for Monica to to spend money before they could even make it. They felt they were doing better than many people in their families or other side. I would have didn't feel was enough to get laxed over. He worked hard every day to keep his scholarships from soccer and have the grades to get more. On top of being a full-time athlete and student, he worked full-time. And when he lost his job years ago, he spent his last $700 to get a real estate license where he met Angela, his instructor, who offered to become his mentor. And though Monica didn't know, Angela proposed to marry him once before a business trip before she knew he had a girlfriend. See, Angela believed in his potential enough to keep teaching him. Edward looked up shocked as Monica entered the bedroom with a broad smile on her face. Edward of all the things to mess up on, that's what I mess up on. Edward sighed, standing up to put his bowl in the sink before Monica jumps in front of the door, blocking him. What's up, Mo? You look so sad, baby. What's wrong? Monica rubs his chin, kissing him, hearing him talk about mouthwash. I'm not in the mood, Mo. I can ask my parents for a loan if you're worried about the car, Monica suggests. Edward sighs. I know money is significant to you, Monica, but money is super important to me. Baby, I can work extra hours, like, it's not a big deal. I'll pay you back. You're going to be paying me back by working extra hours as someone else's slave. You're getting us further in debt. That's not paying me back. I gave you $500 today. You handed me $55 fucking back. Are you serious? Spending money is important to you, not managing it, not accounting or saving it. Edward, please relax. Monica hugs him. Edward sighed, wanting Monica to let him go. Rochelle told me you two just got done doing what you two just got done doing. I think I'm gonna let you two have this place and I'll move on. Edward rubbed his temples. Baby, no, I love you. I know you and Rochelle did something this morning. I know you both wanted to protect me. I don't want to lose you or my best friend. Monica holds Edward tighter. You saying I got both of you? Edward asked. I would rather you two didn't, but I'm not going to ruin my life because you two find each other attractive, you know. Monica frowned. Edward shook his head. It isn't Rochelle. It's us, Monica. We need help badly. I don't want to keep spending money to pretend to be rich with you. I want you to get rich, and I feel like I'll have to teach you everything. You're not happy being with me? I don't give a fuck about being happy if I'm living in debt, Edward exclaims. I didn't know that. So are you and Angela having sex too? No, I've never had sex with Angela, but what's going on with you two then, Edward? Monica rubbed her eyes, trying to keep herself from crying. Angela wanted to marry me when I first got started for her. I didn't tell you because I needed the job. We figured things out, but it's time I move. I need to find a better territory for real estate because I don't have the capital for this area. Not to mention, he keeps spending all our money. Edward shakes his head at the confession. She proposed to you? And you said no? Yes and no. She's almost twice my frickin' age. And I already started dating you. I already chose you over Angela, but I don't know. I think I should have stayed single. Maybe we were better off as friends. How could you possibly say such a thing? If you already know me and Rochelle had sex, then why are we trying to fool ourselves? I knew I lied to you about it as well. You're trying to protect me. Yeah, but I'm protecting you from reality, and I shouldn't have to do that. I need a partner to help me face reality, not someone trying to run from it. Can you be patient with me? It's my first time on the planet, just like yours. I'm not perfect, and neither are you. And if you're cheating on me with my best friend, Monica confronted Edward, you're right. I'm sorry, Monica. I had sex with her too. I thought I'd get back at you, but sex with a woman isn't the same as what we did this morning. I love you. When I was angry today, I felt so protective and passionate over you. We can work through this and fix things. We can go to counseling. Thank you, Mom. Edward hugged her, kissing her forehead repeatedly. Monica hugged him tightly. I love you, Ed. I truly do. But don't make me any rash decisions. It has been a long day, and I'm super stressed out. Monica smiled. The fuck?